Well, all right, and welcome back to PlanetGenX podcast. I'm Luigi. Welcome.
And it's to me, Mario.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, welcome, guys. How are you guys doing today? We're so glad you joined us. Obviously, I am off my rocker.
Thanks for reminding me I can't hit those high notes anymore, by the way.
It's me.
It's to me, Mario.
Yes. Oh, well. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time today. Before I forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, give us a comment, leave us a comment, whatever you want. You know, you just want to contribute, please contribute.
And feel free to hit the subscribe button if you just want to be reminded when we throw something up.
Yeah, actually, now I think about it, if you want to contribute something, I want to refer back to last episode if I could for a moment here. Because I noticed, if y'all have watched the episode, you see that I inserted some images in there. It's just, you know, it's always growing, and I'm trying to make it a little more visual appealing, besides our ugly mugs. And I noticed, and I didn't even realize it when I first looked at it, one of the pictures I showed of the slide, first of all, I'm referring back to Project Silica that we talked about in the last episode, Microsoft's Project Silica. And in that, there was, we talked about a slide that they use, you know, to keep data on. And I noticed in the picture up in the corner of the slide the guy was holding up, it said Superman movie.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So that one whole slide just had the original Superman movie down for posterity.
Nice.
I thought it was a good choice, actually. Like, just for that picture, I thought, man, everybody can relate to that. That's a Gen Xer for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in prior generations, too, right? Because, like, Superman was...
Oh, yeah. Well, you had the
all-American hero, right?
Definitely, yeah. It went over well back then, for sure. I just thought that was neat and wanted to try and remember to bring it up if I could, and had a perfect little opportunity there. So, yeah.
Well, there it is.
Yep. So, Sony is launching a new PlayStation 5, not the Slim. They want to be specifically...
We call it the Slim.
Yeah, everybody else calls it the Slim. They say, no, we're not calling it the Slim.
Because, I mean, like, as everybody's shown on all the shots of it, it's
not much slimmer. It's like tiny bit.
Pretty similar.
Yeah. It's shorter for sure.
Yeah.
As far as width, though, if you're talking about, you know, it stands up, so it's pretty slim. But side by side is like it's slightly smaller. But you can't make it much thinner because they got to get everything in there. Yeah. So it's about as thin as it could get at the thinnest point. Where did I get that off? Tom's Hardware? Yeah, so Tom's Hardware said, yeah, Sony isn't outright calling it the PS5 Slim. Instead, as Sony explains in a blog post, the console will now be known simply as new PS5. Despite being 18% lighter for the digital console and 24% lighter for the disk drive model, its internals remain largely unchanged, though the console will now feature a 1 terabyte SSD instead of the 825 gigabyte SSD that shipped with the launch PS5, which I can attest to. I had gotten an Xbox Series X this last Christmas, and it had the terabyte drive, obviously. Well, my dad had gotten a PS5 shortly thereafter, and yeah, I was dismayed when I saw that. I was like, 825, wow, man. How are you going to come at people like that?
I don't know, man. This is one of those things that kind of triggers me.
Well,
because like in the past, they were always like a pro version, right? Like,
yeah,
when they released the Slims, that there was like some real hardware elements that were added as well. And
sure, it's like a revision update as well.
Yeah,
as instead of just a form factor change or something like that.
Right, and now the two things you've already mentioned, one, the 1 terabyte drive, and now the other thing is that will have connectability for an external ROM drive,
which I think's really cool.
I agree.
Sell one unit, right?
Yeah.
And if I want, Xbox did that though originally. Remember when when we were battling between Blu-ray and HD DVD?
Yep.
Xbox went the HD DVD path and lost out. But that they had an external model because inside the Xbox 360 at the time, it was just regular DVD. It couldn't do any great things. And that's why a lot of people always lean towards Sony back then, because out of the box, you're getting a player and a gaming unit. That's what got me on a PS2 back in the day. DVD player right out of the box.
There is another concern with it being external, and that is bus, your overhead and whatnot, especially now that they're talking about I think it's a PCI 4 extension of some sort that they want to use for external stuff that I'm almost 100% is not a part of that. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure they can.
We'll be trying to shoehorn more data into there, right?
Yeah, they'll get the bandwidth they need somehow, some way. Even if they have to come up, well, it's already made. Well, I mean, so I guess
need
it just
is a strong word, right? Because like most people are probably not really going to need that extra bandwidth.
Yeah, well, and everybody's getting away from discs anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I love the idea so much, because you can start out without it, and then you might be like, damn. Most people are going to start out with it, I think, because that's why I specifically wanted the X, not only because it was, had better specs, but it had the optical drive.
Yeah.
And I had games that I needed that for, specifically Cyberpunk.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, in this day and age, who's buying Blu-ray and DVD players, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
we've talked about
that
it before
as an option.
Yeah, we've talked about how Blu-rays are basically, because I remember what we were talking about. It was something came out on Blu-ray finally. I don't even remember what it was. And was it? It might have been Babylon 5. Yeah, it was Babylon 5, wasn't it? Yeah. And we were joking about how, way to come out now. I mean, everybody's been clamoring for it for years, and now the end of the life of the Blu-ray. It won't be around much longer.
It's a very Bab 5 thing to do, right?
Yeah, it's so true. So true. Speaking of Bab 5, since we're in the space world, right?
Yeah. We have some news on that.
Yeah, man. And if I heard about this, I forgot about it. And that in 2019, apparently there was an announcement for a new Battlestar Galactica. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I just come across something and saw that and was interested. And then, one thing led to another, find a little more news, and come to find out it is still going on. I mean, it's a pre-production thing. I found out the guy, Sam Esmail, yeah, from Mr. Robot. I know it's a very popular show. I've caught a couple episodes. It was all right. The early episodes, they're like the first two or something like that.
Same. I couldn't really stick with it.
Yeah, wasn't for me. But it seems to be a smart show anyway. I do know that the tech, the stuff in the show is very legit.
Right.
The kind of stuff he does. Some of it's sus. Very little, though. A lot of it's legit. But it turns out that it looks like it's going to be an extension of the Ronald D. Moore stuff and not a full-on reboot, which I think I'm pretty happy with, because I don't like people that get reboot happy with stuff, You get some, especially as successful as the reboot Battlestar was, you got a world to build on. You had Caprica that came out shortly after that, which really got cut short, I thought. I wish it had lasted longer. I was quite interested in it.
I think most people would agree with you that are familiar with it.
Yeah. So this is an opportunity, maybe. I think they even mentioned Caprica in this little thing I saw.
Oh, cool.
There's stuff there, that's laid down, so why not build on it? Your world building. It's an IP in this day and age. It seems stupid not to do it that way. So yeah, now that the strike's over, it's a big deal. It's going forward and it's all good. And then speaking of that, the strike's over.
The big news, yes, the strike's over. Everybody can not immediately start to watch their favorite shows again, but they're coming back soon.
Yeah, so SAG-AFTRA strike, they made it was a 4-month strike, and they made a tentative deal with the Alliance of Motion Picture and TV Producers, AMPTP.
And they made a huge deal about it being like their last best offer. You know, I saw a lot of press about that before, it was finalized.
Right.
So
Well,
I don't know.
it seems like the strikers are quite happy. So I guess they got what they wanted.
Well, I mean, the big thing, I think I saw it in your notes somewhere, is AI, right? That's one thing that they really harp about, and it's not like being anti-AI. Some people are obviously anti-AI about it infringing upon their chance to get roles or whatever.
Absolutely.
But most people are just like, look, you use our stuff to inform these models. We deserve a cut, right? And that's pretty simplistic and straightforward to me.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stand behind him. I was ready. Not that I have no dog in a fight anymore, man. I just don't care about TV much anymore. I don't know if you feel that way, but I could give it or take it. I still do watch it a little bit every day just to be with my wife for a bit. But
hey, execs, if you're looking for somebody to make a show, I have a show I really want to start, and it's going to be totally different, and that's what's missing. There is an element. I can't talk about it because I don't want to put it out there for somebody else to take.
Right.
But, there's some new blood that needs to come into it, right? Because we've still got. There are still shows with laugh tracks on them, and for me, laugh track or a live studio audience, that doesn't really work in this day and age. The only place where I think it does work really is like in SNL.
I think there's still a place for it, but it's only in comedy.
Well, I mean, even in comedy, it's kind of like that cue, right? It's like, hey guys, laugh. This is supposed to be funny, as opposed to like naturally laughing.
It's like, I'll give you an example. Okay, so Red Dwarf has had most of their stuff in front of a studio audience. They did a season some years back, season 9, where there was all taped. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it just missed something. And somebody had gone back and added just laugh track stuff to it. And it makes it so much better. It just makes it feel like Red Dwarf. And
I know. I was going to say, like, imagine watching something like Roseanne or any of those old shows with all that taken out. It would be a little weird.
Yeah. I don't think... I agree that I don't know that those shows, they're few and far between, it seems, because the networks, I don't think, get a look in much anymore.
Yeah.
But I still think it's there. It's a tool. But I think a lot of people have moved away from it. The League of Gentlemen back in the day did it. And I thought that season felt weird when they had no laugh tracks on it. It's just weird. I
don't know. I guess it's also something that people of our generation kind of grew up with, and you kind of expect it. Like, all of the sitcoms that were from our formative years had that, like, live studio or
and that's what I'm watching at. When I say I'm watching TV now, that's what I'm watching. I'm like Silver Spoons. That's what we're watching right now. Give Me a Break. We've been watching a ton of stuff. Amen. Whatever. It's all on Tubi. I just love that kind of thing. But I can definitely agree that it's few and far between anymore, for sure. They got whatever they call Roseanne now, the Connors, still going, I guess.
Oh, is it?
I stuck with it for a while, man. I watched it for a long while after they got rid of her, because I just loved that show, man. I really did love the Roseanne show. It was one of the best. But it's taken a whole other turn. It's a whole different kind of show now.
What else? Anything else?
Man.
Of AI. Well, I'm just talking about the SAG-AFTRA.
Oh, SAG. Yeah, no, nothing really big news-wise. Even from where the article I got, I thought was pretty weak for the BBC. It was barely a mention.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. They're real happy, and I'm happy they're back. Our shows eventually are going to start coming back after a few months. They'll need time to get all that stuff going, but it had gone on for too long. We had already, we said it multiple times. It's time.
Well, it's back to back, right? Like, we had COVID first, and we started to recover somewhat from that. Everybody, that's when all the podcasts got big. That's when everybody started doing their filming and whatnot differently. And then, right as things were starting to finally normalize, the strike hit. So
yeah, it's kind of like, and then these actors who were out of work because of COVID are now out of work again. Yeah, it's endless. So I guess the next will just be the apocalypse that puts them out of work or something. Crazy shit. But so we're in the month of November, and this is the month that Doctor Who was born on the 23rd, 1963. And so we have a very big anniversary coming up, the 60th anniversary, which I thought I would go ahead and mention here and talk about a little bit. I'm already rattling around in my head of what we might do leading up to that. I don't know. It's fairly early days, but I did want to talk about the fact that what we do know going forward. The first anniversary episode with David Tennant playing the 14th Doctor, that's how he's listed, will air on November 25th. And we'll actually have a podcast before that day. It's a Saturday.
Right.
So that works out pretty good, actually.
I mean, you say that. Isn't that like the week of Thanksgiving?
I believe it is. Yeah. Well,
calendar.
Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, so we would be on a Friday unless you're traveling or anything, which I'm not.
Which I am. This is one of those years where, you know, I've decided to be a little bit more present in my family's life and whatnot. So I said I'd go this year, and it's always a hassle.
Well, Thanksgiving's just meant to make everybody pissy. I think it's kind of well, never mind. Everybody can enjoy their Thanksgiving their own way.
Well, no, I mean, like, I was thinking about this the other day because I was there, you know, again, anything you have a subject on of stuff like that, like holidays or whatever, there's some IP out there that has done some kind of episode about it. And one of them I'm talking about was Teen Titans Go. And it's like the traditions of Thanksgiving, you know, they made a big deal about eating more than you can handle, right? Like eating until you're miserable. And, you know, getting together and arguing about politics, right? And like just like all that crap.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a misery you put on other people. Why would you want to do this every year?
Right, and for me, it's to get that green bean casserole with the breading on top.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
You know, some pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie, man. Hell's yeah. I could have both those too, man. Those are, I can eat them for one. You know, and if I just eat those two things, I don't think I'm killing my diet.
Yeah.
So I might do that. But actually, I'm not participating in Thanksgiving this year. My wife is working. My parents do their own thing on Thanksgiving. Her parents are, I'll probably join them. Her parents, they're having it at a different place anyway. It's not gonna be the same deal as it usually is. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be probably just doing. I might do something with my parents. I don't know. We'll see.
And the leftovers, right? The leftovers.
You do.
Are awesome.
Yeah. In fact, the leftovers usually taste better later.
I agree.
In my opinion. But
unless it's sweet potato. Sweet potato doesn't age well for me.
Yeah, no, I don't. Well, I don't mess with the sweet potatoes, man. I don't dislike them. I just don't want them. For me, it's all about what kind of turkey you got, because most people now I got to admit, it's gotten better in the last few years. I think people are getting a little wiser how to cook turkeys. That's probably just access to information. Yeah. Sure. But the greatest thing I ever got was the honey baked ham people. Mm-hmm. Well, they make a honey baked turkey.
Honey baked turkey, yeah.
Oh, brother, man, this shit is so good. It makes you want to slap your mama, man. I mean, like right there at Thanksgiving across the table, smack the hell out of her. And she probably deserve it at Thanksgiving.
And that's the other thing, the fact that you have turkey and ham. Just a little bit of because people are pretty familiar with the Christmas ham, right?
Yeah. Well, see, dude, I love that ham, man. I love that honey ham, but I can't have it no more. So.
Ooh, I know. Yeah. That sucks.
It's a bummer, dude.
I'll eat extra portion for you, brother.
Thank you, because I'm not gonna eat shit hardly this year, man. I'm getting svelte. I'm getting tight like a tiger. Yeah.
Cool.
So, oh, so some more stuff we know about the Doctor Who stuff. It
Right.
is starting at season 1.
Yeah.
Which, don't fret, people. Don't fret. It's fine. Just because they're starting at season 1 doesn't mean that we're all going to retcon everything before it. It's going to continue on. Cuddy Gatwa. I'm sorry. I call him his name's actually Shooty. Shooty Gatwa will be continuing on. He's not like Doctor Number 1. He's Doctor Number 15.
Right.
It's just, you got to understand from like you don't want to start like Disney Plus is acquiring Doctor Who, or has acquired the rights to Doctor Who in the States. So they're showing it for the first time. And when you're trying to grab new viewers, you don't want to confuse them with a show that's as long as Doctor Who,
Right.
with 26 seasons from the classic series, and then you got I don't know how many seasons do they have with the new.
That's what I was just going to talk about. Is like you said season 1, and there's 2 season 1s, right? There's the original season 1, and then there's the Eccleston. Right.
So I mean, they've already done it, and it was for that reason. But just like back then, it still continued on, just like it was. They didn't ignore the history before it, and that's what we expect with this. It's in Russell T Davis's hands, so I think we're fine. He's the one that brought it back to us in the first place. I do not think it could go any worse than it already has been taken, for sure. Let's see. So, there's 3 episodes with Tennant, and I don't know how those are going to shake out as far as, when they air after that. The speculation as far as when Shooty comes in, maybe the Christmas episode or a New Year's episode, and there's even been talk that maybe they just like start with an episode or 2 and then wait till the spring to show you the rest.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's going to shake out.
Well, one thing that's going to happen is that he will be part of the Red Nose Day special or something along those lines. Over the holidays, he'll make an appearance as that.
More than
somewhere.
likely.
There'll be a reference or something, because they always do that.
Yeah, I wish I had I was going to say I wish I could get BBC. I can. It's not great to look at. It's not high def.
Out of the open seas.
It's like trying to watch high def in SD is really, really crap.
Yeah.
It really looks bad. Especially compressed for internet. Like using one.
Agreed.
And I'm not even sure the legality of it too, because it's like these servers that restream stuff. It's basically just restreaming over the internet somehow. Anyway, yeah. So I'm thinking about doing something Doctor Who wise, before it airs. I don't know what yet. Maybe giving some history or something like that. I don't know. I have to brainstorm on it a little bit. But before we go, man, I was trolling around and I saw that Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple, and everybody knows as Woz, the man that actually made the computer by hand with his own brain. It's amazing to me that just anybody could have done that, I'm just going to build a fucking computer, dude. I wish... How the fuck? I mean, like, how the fuck? I guess there was knowledge around of some kind of computers, and he just adapted it. But it's just amazing, really, if you think about it.
No, I agree. I mean, like, in this day and age, it's nothing to see a breadboard bro or something like that, and everybody's fucking around with Arduino.
Yeah, exactly.
Back then, whole different story.
Exactly. He had the man is just, I don't even know how to put it. The super brain.
He's a genius.
Super brain genius. Yeah. But he suffered a stroke. He passed out at a business conference in Mexico City, and then he had an MRI done, and it turns out he had a stroke. But he seems to be okay, and he's back at home and
recovering. And we wish him a speedy one.
We do. We wish him the best, and we want Woz to live for a very, very long time.
Yes.
He gives away have you seen that? He's got unprinted or uncut sheets of $2 bills.
No.
There's 4 of them to a sheet, right? And they're legal tender, and he gives them out to people. And he's been having them made for years, and they're made by the U.S. government for him. And he just has a bunch of them now. They hadn't made them in a while, but he's got like boxes and boxes of these things that he just gives out to people. Man, could you imagine, dude? I bet those things are actually worth quite a bit of money. I mean,
maybe.
Well, first of all, you just got to consider to a coin collector,
right?
The uncut sheet is rare because first of all, it's a 4. It's in a 4 cut of 4. Is what I'm trying to say. It's specialty made for a man who's a legend. Will be remembered forever. Yeah, I would have to think that there's a lot of value there, and I would think that it would be even more if he signed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Is like if he hasn't signed it, I mean, like obviously, as you're talking, he's known for doing that. But I mean, like somebody could just have a sheet of 4 that they got.
Well, see, no, they can't because he knows, like, he has all the numbers. He knows what numbers are his.
Right.
So if somebody brought in a sheet and said, "Oh, thank you for this," I'll show you. He could look at it and say, "Well, that's not one of mine."
Well, I'm not talking about him being involved. I'm talking about like aftermarket.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
down the road. Yeah, well,
yeah,
he may have all that published too. I don't know, like what numbers
Maybe.
he has in his possession. I don't know. I really don't know. I just thought it was kind of neat. A little anecdote to add to the story. How about that?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Anywho, man, what else you got going?
Nothing, man. Just personal stuff. I think I told you last time I was having a real problem with my tinnitus, and it's subsided finally in the past couple of days. I mean, it's constant, but it's the thing that I think a lot of people with tinnitus deal with is the fact that it's ever present, and it's all about not even suppressing it. It's about like busying that specific part of your brain that ties into where you hear it with something else.
Yeah, my wife has it. She calls it sounds like hearing crickets or something like that.
Yeah, I know a guy who's got it, and for him it's a hissing sound. Mine, it's a high-pitched whine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not have a problem with it. I've been fortunate over the years, and I have always turned the music up. I've never worn earplugs. I've been in bands and bands and bands over the years, and I am very fortunate that I don't have that problem.
I honestly blame my father. I think it had a lot to do with me being around heavy construction equipment at a young age.
Could be, man.
No ear protection.
You never know. Developing ears.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, alrighty then. If you got nothing, I got nothing.
No, alrighty. How about you? I put in my 2 cents.
Oh, people don't give a shit about me, man. No, it's just, oh, not man. Let's see. What's going on with me? Nothing, man. Nothing. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't let the week sneak up on me. That if I saw something that I thought was worthy to be on this podcast, I went ahead and noted it right away, so I didn't forget about it and get caught looking.
Right.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. What just happened right there? Is that your?
With
that's
me, like clicking through.
No, the light just went away all of a sudden. Like,
that's because I took away the big white screen that was on.
It did.
My
it
main
shifted your light something fierce, man. It's like, bling, bling.
I can tell.
That explains a lot. So it wasn't your, what did I tell you to lock?
The exposure.
Exposure.
It actually was.
It was.
It was because during that whole time I had that up. But just basically what happens is, I come in here. I get into our DMs and I'm like, hey, look at that new doc. Well, let's open that up. Boop.
Yeah. Instant light. Let there be light. Light! Aziz! Light! How many times have we heard that? I probably said that before to you on here, haven't I?
Probably, man. I've said that millions and millions of times.
You know who else says it? I heard him say it today, and I think we're like the 3 people on the planet that say it.
Who?
Adam Savage.
No, really?
Yeah. I heard him say it on one. Actually, I've heard him say it more than once.
Man, I guarantee you that there are thousands and thousands of people that do it.
Well, if you know, you know.
That was a popular movie.
It was. But, I mean, dude, we saw it.
Kind of like getting nervous and going, call my man. Call
Go ahead, my man. Go ahead, my man. Green. Super green. I can't scream like him. I wish I could scream like him. I love it. It makes me laugh like a motherfucker when he screams like a girl.
Yeah.
Anywho.
That was such a great role.
It is.
Anyway.
Yep. So, we thank you guys so much for joining us, and hope you guys had a good time. We were in a good mood today, I think, and brought to you by Kellogg's. I was thinking of this Deep Space Nine thing. Sorry, my brain went off on and my mouth opened. Brought you by Kellogg's. I was thinking of this Deep Space Nine thing, man, from back in the day. Because I don't know if anybody remembers it, but every time Deep Space Nine come on, like, this announcer would come on and go, Deep Space Nine, brought to you by Kellogg's.
Right.
And every now and then there'd be something else, but I just remember that Kellogg's, man. It always brought to you by Kellogg's. This is how it goes. Verbatim. Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, brought to you by Kellogg's. That's exactly how it sounded.
Yeah. Or the multi-business ones were great, you know?
Yeah. Shit, I'm dying. Anyway, I'm just talking. Fuck, I'm gonna die. Somebody get some water in him quick. I about swallowed half my hair inhaling.
We do need to talk about something. We'll put it on next episode, I think. But the whole Windows thing. It's been in the news recently.
Windows.
Yeah. We'll research it. I don't want to talk anything about it right now, but maybe we'll put that in next episode.
If it's about subscriptions, is it about subscriptions?
It's related. It's part of that, yeah.
Not. They've said that's not gonna happen.
Okay.
Well, there is total rumor.
Other news, but
okay.
Yeah. Well,
no,
maybe next week.
I'm just. Oh, Jesus. But yeah.
We'll let him die in the background.
Yeah. Don't mind me. The show will go on without me.
Bonus footage.
You can get AI copies of me to fill in. It's really that easy, kids. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for putting up with both of us. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
As always,
be excellent to each other.
And
we'll
catch you on
the peace side. No, the flip side. The flip side. I
it's
just totally fucked that up, man. I did. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
Later, everybody.
Later.